Welcome to this Andor review and breakdown. Now, Andor continues to be the best Star Wars in years, with each of its story threads being a combination of top-tier acting, writing, and directing. Last week, Mothma had money troubles. As we know, she is funding the rebellion with her family's mega Chandrilan fortunes, but her accounting has not been squeaky clean. There has been a deficit in the accounting, and plugging the gap is hard with the Empire's new funding rules, and she's told to meet Davos, a dodgy geezer. We meet him in an uncomfortable scene. Thus far, we've seen Mon Mothma almost as like a squeaky clean moral absolutist, apart from Rogue One, but the road to Mon Mothma leading the rebellion to destroy the Death Star twice is paved with uncomfortable acts. This theme is also shown at the end, with Luthen willing to let 50 men be slaughtered so a contact in the ISB can still be kept. Mothma and Luthen are at very different places in their rebellion path, but I doubt Mothma would be that hardcore. Still, the squeaky clean AOC style figure having to do this dirty work is shown expertly by the actress here. Now, he doesn't want anything, but he does, and she doesn't want to owe a man like him anything. He wants his son to meet her daughter, uniting the families in sort of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon style stuff. This Chandrilan young marriage betrothal was hinted at last week, and it's front and centre here. He's a traditionalist, saying that people don't understand the Chandrilan marriage, while she's more of a progressive here. It's only going to get more and more uncomfortable for her as the rebellion grows. What I did find the most interesting was how Davos isn't happy with the Empire, either saying their financial rules are cumbersome, and I think this means the rebellion would be forced to work with more and more criminals, just like we saw with Andor, but criminals less about wanting to end the oppression and more about looking out for themselves, which would lead to quite a few actual thought experiments when it comes to ethics. Meanwhile, on Narkina 5, the prison escape continues and is gripping from start to end. Kino is distraught at the idea he's never getting out, but Andor says he'd rather die than give them what they want. Andy Serkis delivers some of the best acting I've seen him ever, act, as we see him seethe and snap, deciding that he will help with the escape. The plan can only be done on this day, and they come up with an extremely smart plan. I quite like we didn't get like the heist breakdown. It wasn't like a GTA heist or anything like that, or a breakout planning scene, but we're in the dark just like the Imperials. Their plan is to get the new guy to come down and also get some water to spread across the floor, so when there's a shock, it will short circuit. This plan is wildly dangerous, leading to deaths from shock and also the guards who have blasters. And Andor said how it is the guards who's afraid of them, which does seem incredulous to Kino, but there's a skeleton crew of guards when there's 5,000 prisoners. And he says that they killed like 100 or more people just to keep this whole thing from getting out, the truth that they're never getting out. We'll see this later when the guards hide as the prisoners leg it to the exit. Seeing the prisoners rise up was rewarding. We spent so long building this up, and is a testament to the show that they could have spent a whole season just in this place. And while there may be some bad dudes amongst these lot, there's a lot who are simply innocent or not, like Andor. Remember, he was caught for literally being in a place where something happened which he didn't do. Now, Kino had enough and utters every flaw to rise up, telling them the truth, just like he told his flaw. The CGI and VFX of whatever it is, I'm not an expert on that, looked amazing with the hydro being turned off and the prisoners are free. However, they are at sea and must jump. One problem, Kino can't swim. It was absolutely painful seeing them escape, so close to freedom. The pain in his eyes was brutal, but also felt like a relief in some ways. As he rose up and out, he got a thumb to the eye of the Empire, but he still can't escape. The shot of everyone jumping out was beautiful and haunting when we see what looks like just Andor and Melshi surviving the swim. Imagine we will learn more about that. I was hoping more of them would survive as well, but I'm very, very intrigued to see where this goes next. Meanwhile, the ISB's plan to lure Anto Krieger is working sort of. We found out last week that this pilot was going to Catherine, the same place that Andor went into Rogue One. If you may remember, he met Tivik here, a member of Saw Gerrera's cell. Curiously, Saw said he wouldn't work with Anto, but if his cell was going there, then maybe he'll change his mind in the future, but we don't know because there's a possible slaughter going out. But with Krieger walking into this trap on Spellhouse, they're all going to be wiped out. Now the ISB think they've got a big win here, but we got some even more chilling details really. It turns out one of the ISB agents is a deep cover rebel nurtured by Luthen for 6 years, and Luthen fed him intel to help him rise up the top ranks, and they can get the info and vice versa. Now, he can't let 50 men be slaughtered, this agent here, but Luthen mentioned he's too big of an asset, and if they don't attack Spellhouse, then the ISB will know something's amiss, and if they do, they'll all die. A high-level asset like this can't be lost, and Luthen explains his ego and stubborn nature is only useful for this work, and he resigned himself to many years ago that this dirty work and awful decisions he has to make. So he's accepted that. He's given up his life for this rebellion. While he works from the shadows, he's very similar to Saw Gerrera. Now, an ISB agent being a spy is something we've seen before in the Star Wars universe. Obviously, we saw Alexander Kallus in Star Wars Rebels. He turned from being a hardcore Empire fanboy to being a spy under the name Fulcrum. So that's pretty good, and it's interesting that we're getting slowly people bleeding away from the Empire, which is going to be heavily needed if this rebellion is going to get off its feet, which, I mean, we know it does, but you get what I'm saying. But I'm very interested to see where this goes next, and I do want to see the mysterious Anto Krieger at some point, because we've heard so much about him, and it's weird we haven't seen him yet. But I adored this episode. I was gripped from start to finish. I'm surprised many people are not watching this, but it does feel like a great time as a Star Wars fan, because we have The Mandalorian, which is very much like a Marvel Studios production there with cameos and things like that. And here we've got like a HBO style production for Star Wars. So it's very cool that they're having things for different types of fans or people who are just interested in a different way of a show. But let me know what you think down below. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.